All right, thank you everybody for coming out here today. My name is Omar Kashad, and I'm one of the adult services librarians here at the Carroll Stream Public Library. Just to give a little bit of background, I was the one who was doing the Job Club these past few months last year. And in December, we took a month off, but I figured starting in January, I wanted to do these quick, short video tutorials on how to use different library resources that are entirely free for you to use in order to learn how to, to build resumes, but also learn how to make resumes. So today we're going to be talking about a resource called Job and Career Accelerator. Now, the thing I want to tell you about Job and Career Accelerator for today's presentation is I will go through how you can use Job and Career Accelerator in order to make a resume. The thing that I can't really tell you about is how do I make a great resume, because I'm just not a career expert in that regard. But the good news though is that inside of Job and Career Accelerator, they do have resources available that will give you more information on how to craft your resume and make your resume better as well as more relevant to the positions that you're applying for, which I will highlight during this presentation. So what I want you to, first of all, the first step we need to do is we need to go to the Carroll Stream Public Library website. And you can either go to a search engine and type it in, or up here we can see cslibrary.org. And on our library's website, of course, you'll see our nice little ribbon here talking about how we're open for curbside pickup at this time. So if you want to check out a book on, let's say, like resumes or cover letters, by all means, you can put yourself on hold for it. We'll notify you when it's available, and you can just come in anytime during normal business hours. There's some spots in front of the building, and they've got a pole in front of them, and this says text this number, and we'll bring out your holds to you entirely contactless. But what we're looking up here at the top on our little ribbon here are these different words. We're not here to read, we're not here to listen, we're not here to watch, but we are here to learn how to make a resume. So when I hover my mouse over this, you see a bunch of different options appear below you. And the one we're going to choose is this all topics option. Now, what all topics does is it takes us to our library's list of databases and other resources. These databases are grouped by subject, in which case this is just the first page of the subject A through C. But we've also got other ways of seeing what other ones are out there, either by clicking this next button a few times, but also through a couple options up here at the top. Now, if I just want to quickly go to where is the jobs section of the website, I would click this topics button, in which case everything is broken up by subject right immediately in front of me. And here we've got our jobs and careers option. And I can just go ahead and click that, and I'll be taken to the jobs and careers resources that the library provides or else links out to through our website. Alternatively, as I get more and more familiar with Job and Career Accelerator, I may say to myself, well, I want to go directly to Job and Career Accelerator. I don't need to go through the jobs and careers portion of the website. So the way you can do that though is you can click this alpha list option. And when I click the alpha list option, which is right here, all the databases are now listed alphabetically. So when I scroll down here down to the J's, I will see right here, I can definitely see that here is Job and Career Accelerator, and next to it is actually another product called Learning Express. Learning Express and Job and Career Accelerator are actually part of the same product. And so the good news about that is when you create a account for Job and Career Accelerator, you'll also have an account in Learning Express. So that's, again, if I went to Alpha List, I just scroll down to the J's, and here it is. But let's say I had initially gone to the topics list, and then I chose jobs and careers. And when I click that, I'm now taken to, again, our jobs and careers section of our website. And I've got a different bunch of list of subcategories here. Now, under the first subcategory, I'll go ahead and click once, click twice, and you'll see a list of all the resources that we either provide or link out to through this jobs and careers option. And so what I can do at this point is scroll down, and here again are the J's for Job and Career Accelerator, which you'll see right here. And what at that point is, I'm just going to go ahead and click that. And again, right below it, again, we do see Learning Express, but I'm going to click Job and Career Accelerator. So as I click that, I'm now taken to the Job and Career Accelerator portion database resource. So I'm no longer in the Carroll Stream Public Library website. I've now moved out to Job and Career Accelerator. Up here, we'll see our library's name, Carroll Stream Public Library. And then we'll also have this little box here, find tests, tutorials, ebooks. I could type in resume, and then I could go to a list of relevant resume resources, but we're going to do that momentarily, because what's important with this website is it's free for you to use, but what you really want to do is you want to click sign in or register, because you're going to want to create a free account through Job and Career Accelerator, which will allow you to take advantage of this resource and create your resumes, create your cover letters, take job tutorials and stuff like that, because that way this will save your progress and save your resumes and any other work that you do. So if we click sign in and register, we're taken to the sign in page. As I create my account, I will just, in the future, I'll just type in my username and password, which I will do momentarily. But if you're creating your account for the first time, we're going to choose this register button, which is over here. And if you want to know why you want to register, you can click right here. It'll give you a list of reasons, but you'll click register. Now, as you click register, because you went through our library's website to get here, it should say right away that your institution is the Carroll Stream Public Library. Then it's going to ask you, are you a European citizen? Of course not. That's why this is no by default. But then it's going to ask you for some simple questions. What's your first name? You don't even have to put in your last name if you don't want to. But then you'll put in your email, and then you'll confirm your email. And then you'll also put in your password, create a password, and you'll also re-enter your password. Now, once you've done all of these steps, you're going to then click the register button and you'll be logged into Job and Career Accelerator. As I said, I'm already registered, so I'm going to click this login option, and I'm just going to go ahead and log in using my username and password. So if I put it in correctly, and I did, excellent. So now that I'm logged into Job and Career Accelerator, I'm first taken to the My Center screen, which I will cover My Center more later on in this presentation. But as I look across the top here, again, I've got this home option, which will take me always to home, which is basically the Learning Express library, of which Job and Career Accelerator is but one part. We see that down here, Job and Career Accelerator. But also going across the top, I can learn what's new, what is Learning Express recently implemented into its product. I also see right here where this said sign in and register, now it says O Kashad. And as it says O Kashad, that was my username. And below it, here's the My Center option again, user settings, and then finally logging out. This final option is important if you're working at a shared computer. You'll always want to be sure you log out, that way no one else can access your account. There's also this contact us option if you have any questions about if you run into any technical issues using Job and Career Accelerator or Learning Express. This help option is helpful because this is helpful if you are new to using Learning Express or Job and Career Accelerator, because they have frequently asked questions, they've got some video guides, system requirements for needing to use this product. And so, yeah, if you're running into any problems or you want to learn more about how to actually use Job and Career Accelerator or Learning Express, again, please click one of these options and hopefully you will find some guidance in that way. If not, you're more than welcome to contact the library and we'd be happy to see what we can do about walking you through any issues you might have. Now, welcome to Learning Express Library. And here are just some of the modules that they offer. I'm not going to cover all of them, but I will briefly skim over some of them. This career preparation one is pretty helpful. If I click that, I see that through the career preparation section, I can learn more about a career. I can learn about job search and workplace skills. There's also a lot of practice exams and exam information for different exams that might be out there, from cosmetology, culinary, electrician and plumbing exams, military exams. They have a lot of prep exams here for different jobs. Here we've got Job and Career Accelerator, which again, we will be covering momentarily. Where, as you said, you can build resumes and cover letters and do more, which I'll explain some of these different modules in a moment. Chances are we're probably not going back to school, so I'll skip over some of these. Although if you did decide that you wanted to, go back to school and improve your education, there are practice exams for either the GED, the GRE, some of the more advanced exams too, the GMAT, the LSAT, so on and so forth. If you want to build some of your core skills, that's what this module here in the middle will do. You can build your math skills, build your reading skills, improve your reading, speaking, and grammar. If you want to improve your software skills, like your computer skills, there's a couple different modules here for that. There's the Popular Software Skills Center, and this has a lot of good videos on how to use different operating systems as well as Microsoft Office. And then you've got this computer and internet basics section, which again covers how to use your computer, and internet basics. Again, it's a lot of video tutorials, but they're very helpful. And then finally, if you're a Spanish speaker, some of these modules are also in Spanish. But of course, we're here for one specific reason, and that's to use Job and Career Accelerator in order to build a resume. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And then I'm going to see a list of options below me. It doesn't matter which one we click, but we're going to go ahead and click Build Resumes and Job Letters. And when I click that, I'm going to be taken to, again, back where we were earlier, this Job and Career Accelerator portion of the website. So for starters, I have my dashboard here, which is minimized. I will cover dashboard again a little bit later on, but here are the different units inside of the Job and Career Accelerator module. For starters, the most important, build resumes and job letters. This is straight up here at the top. And if I click that, I'll be taken to how to build a resume, and we will be doing that in just a moment. If you are, let's say you're interested in being more of a career changer, let's say, and you've decided that, you know what, I enjoyed what I did, but I want to see what other jobs and what other professions are out there that will match my interests. Well, you can do this find a career match, and you'll take a questionnaire which will explain to you, which will ask you some very simple questions. It'll say, you know, there's a skills questionnaire and there's an interests questionnaire. And after you're done filling out the skills questionnaire, which basically tells the Job and Career Accelerator, well, I have these skills, it'll then give you a list of professions that it thinks may be good that matches those skills. Or the interest matcher will say, well, I'm interested in doing these things. Well, at that point, once you fill out that questionnaire, then Job and Career Accelerator will then say, well, based on the things that you're interested in, I think that these positions would be very helpful, would be something that you would be interested in. Now, once you find those careers you're interested in, you've got this Explore Occupations section where what you can do at that point is you can then look up different jobs and even look them up by state, and it'll give you an idea of, well, you know, here's what the projected job openings are, but it'll also say, here's what this position is, here's the work that's expected when you're doing it, and here's the education you'll need as well as the skills you will need on the job in order to successfully do this job. Now, once you have the resume, once you found the position that you're interested in, you can also search for jobs and internships through this website as well. It's powered by Indeed.com, which is a job search engine that you can find just by going to Indeed.com. But you can also look up jobs and internships straight through Job and Career Accelerator. Now, the one thing you can't do, though, is, and I think this is actually a good thing, is it's not like, say, Monster.com or, you know, some of the other big job search sites out there where you can just say, well, I found the job, I'm going to click, and my resume is already sent to them. What you can do with Job and Career Accelerator is you can build your resume, and then once you're done with it, you can then save it to your computer, and then you can go through searching for jobs and internships through Indeed.com, and then upload your resume for that particular position. The reason why that's a good thing is because the resume that you build for the position that you're applying for should really be focused on that position. So you don't want to just have like a generic resume that is just very generic in nature, but it's not job specific to what you're applying for. In that case, your resume would, in a sense, be a jack of all trades, master of none. So you really want to focus your job resume on the position that you're applying for. And again, I will show you some resources inside of Job and Career Accelerator that backs up that point. And then once you've got the job interview, you want to be able to prepare for it. There's this prepare for an interview option. Here you've got some career ebooks library. This is free PDF ebooks that you can download and read anywhere as long as you have Adobe Reader. And again, entirely free for you to read. And I'm not going to go into discover schools and scholarships. That's again more if you decide you want to go back to school. But like I said, we are here to learn more about how to build resumes and job letters as well as build one. So I'm going to go and click this first option here at the top, build resumes and job letters. And when I do that, I'm taken to the build resumes and job letters section of the site. And right up here at the top, I can see build your resume, build your cover letter. And, you know, we could just click launch this career tool and we'd be right at the races. But I wouldn't hold against you if you said, well, you know, it's not that I don't want to build my resume. I absolutely do want to build my resume, but I like a little bit more information on, what makes a great resume? How do I format it? What information do I need to put in? So on and so forth. And that's where this option way down here at the bottom, which says great resumes, will come in handy. Because as it says, this tutorial will help you through each step of the resume creation process. You can explore what a resume is and the different resume sections and their uses. You can find the right format for you, learn about keywords and action words, view sample resumes, and more. So if I were to click start this tutorial, what I'm brought to is this great resumes course introduction, which I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says the lessons in this tutorial were designed to help you through each step of the resume creation process. And I can then start this tutorial. I'm started at the first section, and this is the introduction. And if I wanted to quickly navigate to a different section of this tutorial, I could choose it from any of these sections on the left, or I can just navigate from one section to the next, but up here at the top where it says next. If I want to click next, I'll be taken to the next section, which talks a little bit about what is a resume. And as it says, if you ask people if they know what a resume is, they will say yes, they know it's important. But like I said, what is a resume really? Well, in this lesson, you'll find out. And then it says, it talks a little bit about today's resumes. It's shorter, it's crisper, it's well organized, less fluff, more facts. Again, you can read all this on your own time later. And what I also like is, here's some questions that any potential employer will ask when reading your resume. And then finally, the last part I'll cover in lesson 1 is, what is a resume? What a resume is not. A resume is not a document that can be used for years without being altered. This is completely true. Your experience changes, your work experience changes, your skills change. It's important to have an updated resume. Also, a toss away document that can be created with little thought. It takes a lot of work into crafting a resume. I tend to think of applying for jobs as almost being a full-time job in and of itself. Then you've got this, and it shouldn't be exempt from the basic rules of grammar and spelling. Absolutely. You want to make sure that you, when you do your resume, that it has no typos or anything. And also important is that it's a tool that guarantees a job offer no matter how perfect and effective it is. That's basically saying a resume is not this. And all it's saying is resumes are but one portion of, as it says, the job search puzzle. Don't neglect the other important pieces: networking, directly contacting companies, researching companies and industries. For a little bit of a teaser, that is actually going to be what next month's Job Club is going to be about how to research companies and industries, and then prepare for the interviews and more. The resume, when well written and used properly, can help open doors for you, but it can't do it all, and that's absolutely true. Now, if I'm at this portion of it, I'm like, well, okay, you know what? I'm just going to save and finish this later. I can go ahead and click this, and it'll say, okay, where you're going to navigate away. If you want to save where you got to at this point in the tutorial, I can say save. Or if I don't want to and just return to the list of resources, I can click close without saving. And if I click this by accident, I can click cancel, but I'm just going to say close without saving. Now, that's one way of learning about how to build a resume, but there's also this, I like to call this the hidden feature, the hidden gems of information for this are all of Job and Career Accelerator are also here under this learn more and guidance option. As I click that, I'm taken to a new screen, which talks about, what Job and Career Accelerator is. But then finally, it's got these learning paths, which I really like, about how to get expert advice. So depending on your situation, you can click one of these and it will take you to information that will help you with your jobs, with where you are in life. So if you're an experienced job seeker, you can choose this experienced job seekers option. And again, it'll give you advice in that regard. And it's also, what I really like is also, this is really hidden, but I really like this one, is how to fill out a job application tutorial. That can be very helpful because, everything's done online these days. You can't just go into a store anymore and say, I want a resume, I want a job application. They'll tell you go online and fill it out, but you may have no experience doing that in that regard, and that's perfectly fine, because what you can do is you can do this job application tutorial, and it'll walk you through all the steps of filling out a job application tutorial online. And then you don't have to worry about, well, why can't I go to the next screen? What information am I missing? What's going wrong? I really need help. Well, I'd really recommend, if you haven't filled out a job application online, or just recently, do this job application tutorial. And then there are other things on here like the expert advice library, so on and so forth. And again, this is the hidden gems, as I like to call it, under this learn more and guidance. But you know what? We're here to build a resume. That was the name of the program. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click Browse Resources to go back to where I was. And now I've got this Build Your Resume option. And I can either click this or launch the career tool. Both of them will do the same thing. And when I click this, I'm taken to the resume builder. And at this point, the first thing it's going to ask me is, well, how do you want to start your resume? Do you want to create a resume from scratch, or do you want to upload and edit an existing resume? That's a file that's saved to your computer. And below it gives some resume writing tips, which you are welcome to read later on your own time once you create your Job and Career Accelerator account. The good thing about this, the thing I like about wanting to upload and edit an existing resume, is this can be helpful if you have a resume right now that's in a PDF format. PDF formats by nature are not designed to be altered, but if you uploaded a PDF to Job and Career Accelerator, it will do its best to pick out the information on that PDF and allow you to then edit your resume inside of Job and Career Accelerator. So that's a really helpful tool to have. Like I said, if you have an existing resume that only exists as a PDF. But for our sake, we're going to create a new resume. And when you do that, it's going to come up, it wants you to name your resume. Now, chances are the name of your resume is going to, this is for you to know, so you can look at it later and realize, oh, well, this resume is for this purpose because of the name. So what I mean by that is, I'd really recommend that you name your resume the name of whatever job it is that you're applying for. In my case, I'm just going to say Omar's Job Club resume. And I guess for argument's sake, I'll put in the date. Now, if you want to, you can also describe your resume. In this section, it might be helpful to include the link to the job application that you're posting for, or else maybe just post in the description as well. Just again, something for you to refer back to. Again, you don't have to do either of those things. The asterisk means that this is a required field and describing your resume is not one of them, but you could describe it if you wanted it to. These last features are important for selecting the job category of what you'll be applying for. The reason why this is important is because what happens is, when you're building your resume, the advice that Job and Career Accelerator gives you will be it'll have some general advice, but it'll also have some job specific advice based on these categories that you put in for this resume. So I guess for argument's sake, I'm going to choose law, public safety, or I'm going to choose actually information technology, not the law one. And I'll say, what's my job experience? Well, let's just say that I'm an entry-level job seeker, 1 to 2 years experience. And then finally, it'll say choose your work situation. None of these options describe me. I have a 6-month gap in work history. Certainly, I think a lot of people are going to have that, unfortunately, because of COVID, but you could put that in there. If you're transitioning from military to civilian workforce, or you're looking to change careers, again, all of this is just to better craft the advice that Job and Career Accelerator gives you to your specific work experience situation. So once I've chosen these options, I'm going to go to start building my resume. And enter a valid resume title. I'm glad I saw that. So I'm guessing it's probably an issue with this date. So I'll just go ahead and edit that out, and I'll just say Job Club January resume. I'm guessing it was those numbers that was causing the problem. So now I'm going to click Start Building My Resume. And I'm immediately taken to the resume builder. And there's some features here up the top, which I will cover in just a little bit. But now I'm under the Build and Edit Resume, and I can see the different sections of this resume. Now, there are a lot of them. There's a header, there's a headline, highlights of qualification, experience, education, so on and so forth. What I want you to let you know off the bat is, you don't have to have every section of this filled out in order to get a resume, a finalized resume. Does your resume need a headline? Well, you'll have to decide that for yourself based on what you've read, as well as maybe sample resumes that you can look at through Job and Career Accelerator. So you don't necessarily need a headline. You don't necessarily need highlights of qualification. Now, I would say you would definitely probably want to put in your experience, your education and skills. But again, for licenses and certifications, maybe the job you're applying for, maybe that would help the HR manager or the recruiter know that, oh, well, I have the license or certification that you're looking for. Maybe honors and awards, professional associations. Again, you may not necessarily need to put this in your resume, but these are the sections that it's saying that you could put in if you wanted to. And a lot of this is just going to go back to the job application. You really need to look at the job application and see what is it that they are asking for, and how can I tailor my resume to match their job description. And so for starters, you're going to start off with the header. If I wanted to edit in any section, I can click add. But in the header, what you'll see is that for me, this information was already put on automatically. It was put on automatically because I'd already built resumes with Job and Career Accelerator for previous job clubs, as well as just from my own experience using this product. Now, if you know the library really well, that's actually the library's address in there. I do not live at the library, but it was just good for demonstration purposes. But the reason why it auto-populates or automatically puts us in this information is because chances are your contact information is not likely to change very much. But if it were, I can either click edit, or I can choose this arrow, which is right up here next to select, and I'll be automatically taken to the first section of the resume, which in this case is the header. Now in the header, like I said, these are boxes. You just fill them out. Omar Kashad, that's my last name. Address, city, Illinois. You don't have to put in the United States if you don't want to, or even Illinois. And then here's the zip code. Of course, Carroll Stream is 60188. Email address. I haven't put in a phone number, although I did read some advice in Job Career Accelerator that said you should have your phone number in there for your header. And if you had your own website or online profile, you could link out to that, but again, you don't have to. And what's also helpful is below this header is this more about how to complete this section. And you'll find this, I believe, on every section in Job and Career Accelerator. And when you click this little plus button, it gives you advice on what you should do for this section. And also they have a nice note here that says, we respect your privacy. This information is gathered solely for your personal use while utilizing the resume builder. I really like that it lays that out up front, because if you went on the internet and you put in free resume builder, you're going to find any number of websites, and who knows what they're going to do with that information when you put it into it. And also, just because they say they're free doesn't necessarily mean they are free. I've seen examples of free resume sites where you can build the resume for free, but if you want to print it or you want to download it, you have to pay the company money. Whereas through Job and Career Accelerator, it will never ask you for money or your credit card or anything like that at any point throughout this entire process. You can download your resume for free. You can edit it for free. Everything is at, again, no additional cost to you, because the library is paying for it on your behalf. So again, first section, okay, well, I don't have any changes to make, so I'll say cancel. And I'll just go ahead and click the arrows. And here's the headline section. How do I complete this section? Again, a headline, first of all, I like that is also just a description of what this section is. A headline should catch the reader's attention by briefly stating your job goals and or what you have to offer. And you can click more about how to complete this section. And this goes back to what I said earlier, which is that, it's crafting the resume based on the advice it gives you based on what I put in earlier. I said I was an IT person, and so it's giving me technical sales and lead generator for this position. So this is, again, some basic resume advice that it's giving me by saying, here's a way of working on your resume that will give me, again, like technical sales and lead generator, and here's some important points it's trying to make. And then here's some more general hints down here below about, again, how to do this. And then finally, some words of caution for you. And that's how to complete that section of it. But again, I'm not going to put in a headline, so I'm just going to skip it, move on. Highlights of qualification, similar story. Again, I'm not going to cover every section of your resume. I'm just getting to the important one, which is this next one, which is experience. So for experience, you've got your job group here. What is a job group? Well, it tells me right away, what is this? And it's basically saying, like, if you put in something for the job group, again, this is not a required point. But with the job group, what it will allow you to do is you can group your positions based on different job groups. And then you can then, if you wanted to, you can then, you could organize your resume based on those job groups. Like it says, for example, different military positions could be grouped under military experience. Again, there's no asterisk next to this, so it's not required, but I'm just going to say like, what I do is for the ones that are required, I'll just go ahead and put something in. What's a good one that I can put in? I'll say IT technician. I'm not an IT technician. Don't lie on your resume. That's your other piece of advice. Who was my employer? I'll just say Carroll Stream Public Library. City, Carroll Stream. If I wanted to, I could select the state, and here's the country, in this case, Carroll Stream, Illinois. When did I start this position? I'll say January of, well, not 2027, that's in the future, but I'll say, let's say like 2018, and I'm gonna say till present. Now, when you come down here, you've got two sections, the job description and the job accomplishments. If I click in this little box, I've got my, it's like a regular word processor. I can say, what are some things I did? I'll say, based on what I've seen the IT people do at our library, let's see here, let's see here, handled internet issues. What's another one? Installed, let's say, new printers. And I'm just going to put in one final one, which was handled library online tickets. And then again, that's just some basic stuff. But what I can do now that I'm up here, though, above this is I've got different formatting options. If you've ever used a job formatting word processor, you'll recognize these: bold, italicize, underline. I can have different like justifications, right alignment, middle, so on and so forth. I can also add bullet points to my resume. Now that I've already typed in the stuff in, I can then highlight what I've already done, choose this bullet point option, and should insert bullets. Oh, it overrode what I did. That's your advice too, is when you're working on this, don't make sure you choose ahead of time what you want to do first. So I want bullets in my thing, so I'll just say again, I'll just handled library help tickets. Again, what's another one? Installed new printers. What's another one? Like I said, and then just maybe double checked internet connections. And then if I don't want to put in what the accomplishments were on that job, which I don't have any because again, I've never done this, I'll just click save. And then finally, here is the experience portion. And you can see that if it's already put in all this information for me, if I want to add another position, I can, or I can just close this section of it. And that was experience, education. I'll just do this one just real quick. What's my degree earned? Let's say bachelor's, major area of study, computer systems, name of the school or college. Well, University of Illinois, location of the college, Champaign, Illinois. When did I graduate? I don't know, just picking a year. I believe graduation is around May. And then finally, let's say I graduated in 2017. I'm not going to add anything else. I'm going to save this, and that's two sections done. Now, as you start to put in this information, you'll probably then say, well, okay, I've started to put this stuff in. That's great. I want to be able to preview how things are right now. Well, I'll show you how to do that, and I'll also show you how to browse sample resumes as well as develop keywords for your resumes you're building it. So when we look up here at the top, we've got helpful hints, which if I click that, just sort of outlines what we had seen earlier, the helpful hints section for each portion of the resume. It talks a bit more about that. I'm not going to click letter builder. If I clicked letter builder, that would take me out of this application and it would take me to the cover letter section portion of the site. As I start to build resumes, I could click saved resumes. I could jump out to one of those other resumes. Privacy is just privacy that Job and Career Accelerator offers you. Now up here at this next line though, is this build or edit resumes option, which we're already doing. But what's also nice for those of us who are like, well, Omar, I read about the resumes. I learned all about, browsing. I learned all about how to make it, but I want to browse a sample resume. Well, I can click this browse sample resumes option. And again, based on what I put in earlier, I'll see that, that it'll give me a list of resumes based on what I put in earlier. So for entry-level job seekers in the IT department, I can see a list of available situations. So let's say, again, I'm in that entry-level job seeker and I'm an IT technician. Well, if I click that, if I go down here now, it'll say, oh, well, I'm an entry-level job seeker, and it'll give me an example of a sample resume. Patricia K does not exist, but this is an example of how Patricia formatted her resume, and I can read some of the tips about what are some of the highlights of this resume that was built. And so I can read through this and see how she formatted her resume and stuff that she put in. But what's also helpful is this add to my selected sample resumes. Why would you want to do this? Well, you want to do this because the resumes listed below, once I add this to my sample resumes, will appear in the Build or Edit Resume tab of the Resume Builder. So I'm going to add this one to my list of sample resumes. And now if I go back, and I can add more than one, I'm just going to add one for this for demonstration purposes. Now if I go to Build or Edit Resume, I can go back to Experience. I'm going to click Edit so I can edit this portion of it. And I'm going to add another position. Now, this bar has now shown up, which was not in before I chose that resume. This was not here. What this is it will allow me to add and customize this section from the selected sample resume or resumes that I just chose. So when I click this, now I've got this sample resume and I see the different positions of which Patricia was involved in. Now, why is this helpful? Well, this is helpful because, well, first of all, you should never lie on your resume. But let's say you look at this and say, well, I did a lot of these similar things. There's just some things I like to change, but I like the general wording. I like the general, bullet points. I really like that to just be imported into my resume that I'm building through Job and Career Accelerator. I just want to, I didn't want to be able to edit it. Well, what I can do is I can say, let's say I was a desktop support technician. I can go ahead and click this, say use this, and I can say add this experience to my resume. Now look what happens. Everything is blank right now. But when I click that checkmark box and then click add this experience to my resume, it went ahead and populated what was in that section of the resume into my resume. So desktop support technician has appeared. If you add that position, great. You don't need to change that part of it. I will need to put in my employer. I'll just go back to, Carroll Stream Public Library. City is in Carroll Stream. I'll leave the rest of this blank. And you can see down here now, it has populated what was in that sample resume into my job description. So let's say I did operate as a service point of contact for help, diagnosing, troubleshooting, resolve approximately 8 tickets per day. Maybe I did twice as much. Maybe I did 16 tickets per day. Maybe, of course, chances are, Windows operating systems were well past Windows 2000. So maybe in my case, I resolved Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10 for, let's say maybe I did slightly less, let's say like 20 workstations. And this last one, maybe I don't need to make any changes at all, provided I actually did these things, and then I can click save. And now you can see that that was quick and easy, and that's automatically, I was able to pull that sample resume's experience into my resume to then alter it to match my work experience, as well as alter it to try and match how my work experience works with the job application. So again, that was really quick, but basically it was this add experience to my resume section. Now, the thing it does caution you though is, and we saw this when I put in that bullet point, if you're going to start working on adding a position, the thing you don't want to do is start writing, then draw in this section of the resume, because when you do that, it overwrites what you already wrote. So again, if you're gonna, like I said, choose the set, if you want to pull into your experience to your resume, which you don't have to, but if you do this, make sure that that you choose this option first, pull it into your resume, and then edit accordingly. Don't work on it, then pull this in, because again, it will override what it already wrote, which is set here under this notes section. Now, the big buzzword in resume writing is keywords. It's all about the keywords. What are good keywords to use in my resume? Or what if I'm looking for keywords? This keyword list is helpful because if I click that, it'll break up the keywords into both action words and job specific keywords. So maybe I want to write about my interpersonal skills. I can click this. I can't bring this into my resume like I could the sample resume, but I can write down some of these words that I've done, like maybe condensed technical journals into something that's readable for the average Joe. Or, I conferred with my colleagues or conferred with library staff, so on and so forth. Again, that's under interpersonal skills. I can then pull these words out, either copy them or write them down and then write those into my resume. And then there are other ones here. What's also nice is this job specific keywords section, where if I were to choose that, I'm then taken to these different, based on different positions. This is not crafted. These options that it pulls up are not specific to, like when I said I was an IT person, but again, I can just, scroll through these, and here's like technology. And again, it breaks it up by different position, by different parts of technology, like computer operations. I could then say, I worked on computer hardware, let's say. And again, that's all available under this keywords list. Again, you don't want to start building or editing your resume, and make sure at some point, if you want to view keywords, is to save whatever you're working on first and then go to keyword list. Because if you just say, I'm working on it, I forgot to save it, I click keyword list, it's automatically going to bump you out of what you were working on. So be sure to save early, save often. And finally, if you're like, well, Omar, great, I've done all this work on it, I want to be able to preview my resume, I want to see what it looks like. Well, that's where this preview resume option comes in. I click that, and here again is my sample resume that I've done so far. Here's my name, here's my experience, here's some of the work that I've done. And again, I can review it, and I can even customize my resume, where I could choose, different, if I choose this customize option, I can choose a different layout for my resume. Maybe I like this one better. Maybe I like this one better. Maybe even this one works better for my purposes. Maybe I like this one more. I can then customize it by that way. And then I can say done customizing my resume. But also what's nice here is you could also change where the sections of your resume fall just straight through Job and Career Accelerator. So if I'm like, well, I want my education to be first, as it says right here, to reorder sections, click on the dotted bar to the left and then drag it up, which I will do now. Pull this up here. Okay, I probably need to pull it further. There we go. So now that I pulled it far enough, now my education is above my experience. So again, that's just an easy way for you to reorganize sections of your resume without having to do a lot of work, additional work. When I'm done, I'll say I'm done customizing my resume. And this is what my resume looks like now. Now, at that point, what I can do is, from this preview resume option, is if I really like this resume and I wanted to, copy it for other positions while editing it, I can choose this clone resume option, in which case it'll make a copy of this resume for me to alter. I could print my resume. I could download my resume, and then I could email my resume. Downloading is really nice because, again, this is entirely free for you to download. You do not have to pay money to download your resume. What it says up here is a lot of information about how to choose which file type you want. Again, we're coming to the end of the presentation, but basically I could choose, like, I want it in a Word document format. So if I have access to Microsoft Word, I choose the DocX option, and I could then upload, and they can download it to my computer and then edit it through Microsoft Word, which gives me a lot more editing options and are available just solely through Job and Career Accelerator. If I'm like, you know what, this resume is perfect, I don't need to do any more work with it, and I want to just upload it to the job application, I'd say choose the PDF format. PDF can't be altered, but that'll work really good for your purposes, where the person who reads it can't alter it either. And then it'll also be formatted the way that you want it to be. Whereas in a Word document, formatting can change based on who's looking at it through what word processor. And if you don't have access to Microsoft Word, you do want to edit it, so you don't want it as PDF. You can choose as rich text format. Rich text format will then basically allow you to read it through, open it through most other like free word processors that are out there. And again, that's under the download option, which is right here. And you could also email your resume. I've never actually tried this, but my guess is you need Outlook installed on your computer in order to do it. But when you click this, it says, here's different options for you about what it is you're trying to email. I'd say download to your computer first and then email it that way. That's just my general advice. But now we've completely created our resume. Now, here's the bonus tip for you, and that's this. One of the pieces of advice which the Job Career Accelerator gives you is, and this is our final thing for the day, is I've built my resume, but I want someone to review it. I'd really like someone to come back to me and say, well, based on the job application, based on what I put into my resume, do you have any advice for me? You could pay for somebody to do that, or you may not realize this, but as a Carroll Stream Library patron, you have access to online job coaches who can also assist you in reviewing your resume or your cover letter. So how do I get access to them? Well, if I go back to the Carroll Stream Public Library's website, going back to Learn again, I'm actually going to skip forward to this live homework help. This is not really deceiving, but basically what you can do through live homework help is, and I'm just going to temporarily pause my sharing while I put in my library card. And now I'm going to resume sharing. What you can see now is now that I've in live homework help, I need the library card to get to this point. What I'll do is I can create an account through them. And when I sign in, if I go down here to the bottom, what you're going to see is get help finding a job. I can connect with a career coach. I can drop off a resume for review, or I could also search live homework helps, online job resources. But if I click drop off a resume for review, again, it's telling me to create an account first, which I have done, but we don't need to do that for right now, just to demonstrate this. What I can do is, okay, it's not, yeah, that's what I thought. All right, well, I will sign in real quick. In which case, my email address. Sign in. So what I can do is, when I'm in live homework help, I can click, if I want to connect with like a job coach, I'll click connect with a tutor now, and I'll say, what's my topic? And I'll say job help. And I'll say, what's the subject? Finding a job, applying for a job, so on and so forth. You can connect to a live job coach, whether through chat or also chat and voice, and you can also attach files for them to review. But but I would say with this, this is good for connecting with a job coach to give you resume and career advice. But if you just want to submit a paper for review, like your resume, you'll choose the submit a paper for review option. And when I brought to this screen, you can then say, what kind of help do you need? And of course, you want job help, resume, and cover letter drop-off review is already selected. And you can say, what do you want the tutor to review? Either the resume or the cover letter. You can say the resume. Again, what is your work experience? Let's say, I'm I'm going to say other. And then what's really nice is, and I especially like this part is, please copy and paste the job announcement or posting for which you're applying, or copy the link to the posting. This again means that the career coach, when they look at your resume and look at the job posting, they can give you advice for your resume that they think you should implement based on how the job posting is worded. And then you'll go down to this choose a file option, and then it'll say, you'll then find your file and then upload it, and then you'll say submit. And as it says right here at the top, you'll get a review within 12, you get a 12-hour review. You'll get it back to you within 12 hours. So again, once you've built the resume through this resume builder in Job Career Accelerator, and then go to tutor.com, you can then take the resume and then implement and then have somebody review it for you. And then the final thing I'll show you today is something I glossed over earlier. Going back to Job Career Accelerator, as you build your resumes, as you work on different things, you're going to want to choose this My Center option. And when you choose that, here is your career dashboard. And then, here's the resumes I've worked on. Here's the letters I've worked on. and so I can easily jump to those, or I can click under the My Center option. It'll also demonstrate these in different sections like tutorials you've worked on, ebooks, computer courses, so on and so forth. So again, thank you everybody for coming out here today. I know I showed a lot at you, but this video will be uploaded to our YouTube channel for you to review later. Again, I really encourage you to use our resources, again, going through cslibrary.org and then going to Learn All Topics and then Job and Career Accelerator. Start to fill out these tutorials. Again, while at the library, we can't give you like resume or cover letter advice because none of us are experts in that regard. If you were to run into like a technical issue, you can give us a call, or you can use this contact us option, reach out to Job and Career Accelerator, the people running this product directly, if you run into like a technical issue as you're doing this. So again, I will go ahead and stop the recording. And again, I want to thank you everybody again for coming out here today. And like I said, the sky's the limit.